Hola. So, also don't judge me for having my baby out here so late. He went home to go to sleep. And if you are judging me, I got you. So I'm kind of nosy. I mean, take that back. I'm curious. And I think I've been curious about sex since before I was born. Or maybe like right at birth. Like they latched me onto my mom's boob and I was like, oh, I wonder what else this thing does. Right? My curiosity, it makes people uncomfortable. And they don't know what to do with it. And the first person to figure it out was my mom. And so begins the story of how I became my mother's sex educator. Right? So let me give you a little bit of context. I am the daughter of an immigrant mother. What does that mean? Yay, immigrants! We built this country. So I'm the daughter of an immigrant mother. And that means that in my house, oh wait, let me take, I'm the daughter of a Latin immigrant mother. So what does that mean? That means that talking about sex was like Voldemort. We just don't talk about those things, okay? That made me forget everything I was supposed to say. But it also meant that my mom had to figure out a way to communicate with me because she didn't have the answers. See, where she's from, Dominican Republic, okay? Where she's from, patriarchy and things like toxic masculinity ran and still run the country, right? And that means that talking about sex, particularly in groups of women, is still uncommon. And when we do talk about it, it's usually on our wedding night, maybe, if that. And if you're me, then you're just hanging out in your living room with your homegirls watching MTV, back when MTV had videos. And, you know, my mom just casually walks in and she's looking at us and she's like, hey, we're like, hey, Mom. And she's like, ustedes no tienen el toto en la frente. So no se lo den a nadie. I was like, oh shit. None of you, translation for the non-bilinguals. None of you have your coochie on your forehead, so you don't need to be giving it up to anybody. That was our collective sex talk. Right? And so begins this dance with my mother on how to talk about sex and ask questions. My first book, Where Do Babies Come From? She still has it. It's really cute. And I really actually remember her, like sitting with her and having this conversation and reading the book to her. And then she said, okay, so now you know where babies come from. Like, don't ask me any more questions. But also, don't tell this to your little classmates, because I was 4. Don't tell your classmates, but also remember that nobody's allowed to touch your body. Little did I know that my mother was teaching me about bodily autonomy at a very young age, right? So let's skip to middle school, where people are playing hide and go, get it. And I'm like 40 pounds chubby with bottle cap glasses, and I decided to chop off all my hair. That's super cute. And I was the friend that all the boys wanted to be friends with because all my friends were the cute girls. And one day I'm hanging out with my guy friends and I'm like, oh, something's wrong with my body. And I'm getting my period. Oh shit. Right? And so my mom picks me up from school and I sit in the back seat. I'm like, oh my God, my period! Silence. She says nothing to me the entire ride home. I'm like, oh God, I did something wrong. I get home And she just waits for my brother to leave the room and hands me a pack of pads. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Again, we do not speak of these things. If you need more, the secret code is TS, toalla sanitaria. But don't say it too loud. Okay. Little did I know that I was being groomed to be a sex educator from like the beginning. So in high school, in my 9th grade English class, we were told you have to create a magazine. And I was like, yes, brilliant, I can do this. And I was like, we're gonna put a condom ad in our newspaper, or in our magazine. I don't even know what a condom looks like. But we're gonna do it, because I think it's important. Don't know what it does, but it needs to be in there. And so I found a friend who had a friend who found me a condom. And so I brilliantly put this condom on the package, and I get an A+ on this fabulous magazine that my group created. And then I take my project home, and I left it on the dining room table. And my mom is like, oh, this is nice, qué lindo. Maralis, ¿qué es esto? What's this? And I'm like, huh? No, nena, what's this? And I'm like, say what now? Tú me oyes, you hear me, what's this? And I was like, squirrel. Oh, Mom, that's a condom. No, I know what it is. Really, you do? I didn't know you knew those things. And she's like, no, but why do you have it? And I'm like, it was for a school project, I swear. I still don't think she believes me, and I have kids of my own. Right? And then there's the day that she found out I had sex. Oh, God. How could you do this to me? Wait, what? I thought he did it to me. I'll never do it again. I swear I'll never do it again. The lies I told. Because like 3 hours later, it was amazing. Whatever team sex is amazing. And then I go off to college, and I'm like, I'm gonna be pre-med, and you gotta take organic chem. What? No. Oh no, we don't do those things. I don't do organic chem. And someone talked to me about like, yo, you could do health education, and I was like, oh, what's that? And I found this professor who her whole life was doing research on sex, and I was like, tell me more. Yes. This is amazing. Wait, you mean to tell me that I can get paid to talk about sex? Notice how I didn't say how much you get paid. Give me my coins. Give me my coins. Okay. Right? But I realized that I was good at this, right? And in my last year, my senior year, I got an internship with the organization that the Supreme Court Justice decided not to come for this week. Thank you, right? And for the first time, I felt a sense of agency, right? Like I was confident in myself. I was like, penises, vaginas. This is sex is amazing. And then my mother called me, and she's like, what you doing? I was like, huh? And she's like, no, like, I have a question for you because I know that you're doing the sex thing. And I was like, I don't know what the sex thing is, Mom. But okay. And I have lots of sex stories. I mean, that's a double entendre. No, I have my conversations with my mother about sex, right? And she's like, I have a question. I was watching the TV, and I was like, okay. And she's like, well, I was watching the TV, and they keep on talking about getting tested for HIV. And I was like, yeah, that's a thing. And she's like, well, how do I do it? And I'm like, wait, what? Are you sure you want to have a conversation with me about this, Mom? Like, this is more than just testing. You know, there's more to it than that. She's like, but that's what I called you for. And I was like, oh. in that moment, I felt like She-Ra. Like it was like, the protector of Grayskull and vulvas everywhere. I got this. And I swiped out my platinum sword, and she was like, well, too much. And I was like, okay, I'll back off. And she was like, no, but really, I want to know. And so we began our conversation. We restarted this dance of what it meant to take care of your body, of what it meant to get tested and why you should get tested, of what it meant to like be able to talk about these things in an open and trusting way. We became each other's teacher and we became each other's advocate, and it was beautiful, and it still is. I don't believe in safe spaces because, let's be real, we're chismosos. We be telling everybody's business. Ain't no safe space. But what I do believe in is brave spaces. Because in a brave space, I'm allowed to ask questions. In a brave space, I'm allowed to create and be curious. In a brave space, I can be myself and say really inappropriate things. And my mother created these brave spaces for me from the beginning. And people ask me now, why do you even do this work? How do you even do it? And I was like, well, come sit next to me, baby. First of all, if you can't have these conversations, then you probably shouldn't be talking about them to other people. Because I have really awkward conversations with people. I do this for the moms of moms. Because moms still can't talk about sex without it being attached to creating a human being. And I do this for my sons because they need to know that it's okay to love your body and love someone else's and treat it with respect. But I do this for myself because of the brave spaces that this woman has created for me. And that's how I became my mother's sex educator. Thank you.